Hey guys, it's Pikmin Toad 121, and today we're back with another challenge, except not a Pokemon one, a Pikmin one. We are going to see if we can 100% Pikmin 2 with the minimum amount of Piklopedia entries. So how Piklopedia entries are stored depends on the creature. For plants, just touching it will yield a Piklopedia entry. For candy pop buds, using them will yield a Piklopedia entry. But for enemies, it's a bit more interesting. Most enemies will yield a Piklopedia entry upon being killed, but in the case of some stationary versions of normal enemies, nothing will happen upon them being killed. According to the wiki at least. We'll see if that's actually true. Anyway, on to the rules. First, I'm going to play through the game trying to 100% the game, meaning that I have to collect every treasure, no matter if I need to kill an enemy for it. If I need to kill an enemy to get a treasure, and it hasn't been registered already, it will be added to the counter. Also, plants won't count towards our total because it's impossible to do it without resetting millions of times to get a good layout, and I just don't have that kind of time. And finally, of course, no glitches or exploits can be used, except for the double spray glitch. Now on to the challenge. Day 1 was nothing special, but I do have to kill the first dwarf red bulborb. After seeing Louie's huge eyes, I also have to kill some pellet posies in order to progress. At least I can freely kill dwarf red bulborbs and pellet posies in the future. I can use these to get more Pikmin as they will be pretty hard to get throughout the challenge. Day 2 started out normally, as we can kill pellet posies without getting any new entries. So, until the second bag came down, everything was fine. That was until I had to get the udder scrap. I thought the path that the Pikmin take while carrying it goes right through the red bulborb, but it turns out that they go around it, so I never had to distract it. The emergence cave was pretty easy, the quenching emblem was easy enough to get, but the citrus lump was guarded by snow bulborbs. I tried to distract them with Olimar, but one Pikmin ended up dying before getting the treasure. Sublevel 2 was literally just me avoiding snow bulborbs until the candy pop buds. Unfortunately, these count towards the Piklopedia, so I have to add them to the total. But hey, they're required. I can distract the 2 snow bulborbs near the spherical atlas while I carry it back to the ship. And after the ship tells us how to use a globe, the day is pretty much over. Day 3 was fine. I killed the dwarf red bulborbs and pellet posies to get more Pikmin. There wasn't much else I could do to raise them, although it was funny to see the sheargrubs chase me. I got some spicy berries in case I need the spray for later. I tried to sneak by the burrow-nit and the creeping chrysanthemum, but ended up losing a purple. RIP. Floor 1 of the Hole of Beasts was annoying because of the male sheargrubs. I tried to sneak past them carrying the Stone of Glory by getting 10 flowered reds to carry it while Olimar distracted them. It didn't go as well as planned because 2 Pikmin died, but I did get the treasure. Floor 2 is the hardest floor in the game. Man, those candy pop buds ate so many Pikmin. Floor 3 is a breeze as fire geysers are not in the Piklopedia, so it didn't do anything. Floor 4 contains a red bulborb that has the Dream Architect, so I have to unfortunately add it to the counter, but that's pretty much it. Now for the boss. It's pretty easy as it's the babyless Empress Bulblax fight, so we just get the treasure gauge and get out of there. Even though we already registered the red bulborb, I distracted it to get the Sunseed berry. I quickly rushed past both burrow-nits in order to get to the white flower garden and headed in. The first floor was basically the same as the Hole of Beasts. I had to sneak around the sheargrubs again, but this time only 1 Pikmin died, so improvement. Floor 2 was really easy. There are only fiery blowhogs on this floor, so I could just sneak by them with reds and get the treasures. Floor 3 has ivory candy pop buds in it, so I'll have to register them because white Pikmin are required to beat the game. After getting the Super Stick textile, I can head to floor 4. Speaking of which, it's literally just poison pipes, so I get both treasures just fine. Floor 5 has the burrowing snagret, so I do what every good Pikmin 2 player does. Spam purples until it's dead! After getting the most useless suit upgrade in the game, I exit the cave and have the white Pikmin dig up the pilgrim bulb. Then immediately head out to destroy the poison gate. After that, I somehow sneak by the creeping chrysanthemum and build the bridge. I quickly grab the geographic projection and collect it just in the nick of time. That was a long day. After unlocking the perplexing pool, I head there and sneak past the enemies and head up the balance platforms, scale, whatever these things are called. I have the white Pikmin sneak past the fiery bulblax and start on the poison wall. While they're doing that, I have the rest of the Pikmin work on the bridge. I call the yellows to my side and collect their pellets. I use them to get the impediment scourge and then have the white sneak it past the shearwigs. I head into the citadel of spiders and get insanely annoyed because a shearwig ate a white Pikmin and died. The second attempt was better and I successfully snuck the love nugget past all the shearwigs. Floor 2 was great. I can legally kill yellow wollywogs now as one has a treasure. Once I killed both of them, the rest of the floor was quite easily. Floor 3 was annoying. There were swooping snitch bugs that I can't kill, and even one that falls from the sky in one of the corners. I had some trouble with one near the open architecture, but it was fine in the end. Next was the memorial shell, which meant I had to take white Pikmin through this electricity-infested floor, which prevented itself to be fine once I realized that I don't need all of my white Pikmin with me. I just had yellow Pikmin carry it back. Floor 4 was hard. I had to kill the Hermit Chromad to get the King of Sweets, and the Flame of Tomorrow was behind an easily accessible wall, but the time capsule was hard, because water dumples are annoying. I had to go all the way around the floor just to break the wall that was in the way, and had Olimar distract the water dumple. Floor 5 was easy, just a diamond and a bee longlegs, both easy to deal with. Before I knew it, I was in the perplexing pool again. While I was at it, I decided to get the Gherkin Gate. Now that I have yellow Pikmin, I go to the Awakening Wood and get blues. But first I need to raise more yellows. Once I do that, I sneak by both cloaking burrow-nits and start on the electric wall. Unfortunately, one Pikmin died, but I got the burrow-nit to fall off the edge of the cliff, so I didn't have to deal with it anymore. I tried doing the purple Pikmin glitch to get the hypnotic platter, but it was ultimately unsuccessful. Once the electric gate was taken down, I started to raise some blues. Unfortunately, I couldn't kill the wogpole, so I was stuck with 20 for now. I picked up the decorative goo and brought it to where the yellows could carry it. Also, I used the yellows to finally get the hypnotic platter. I rushed over to get the blues to take down the drain clog and get the rest of the Pikmin to work on the wall. On the top of the ledge, I got some bitter berries and the chance totem. Pretty successful day if I do say so myself. On day 5, I went back to the Awakening Wood and took down the second electric wall and finally unlocked the bitter spray. Probably the best thing to get for this run. After the wall was taken down, I head into the Bulblax's kingdom. Floor 1 has an orange Bulborb with a treasure in it. Surprisingly, the most annoying part of this floor was the dwarf Bulborbs, because once the big guy was dead, I got the crystal clover and headed on. Floor 2 was easy, all I needed was some reds and the tear stone was mine. Floor 3 was so annoying. The withering blowhogs kept deflowering my Pikmin. Luckily, it just has one treasure, the Olimarnite shell, so I got that and decided to use the ivory candy pot bud there too. Floor 4 requires me to kill a Wollywog and hit an iridescent glint beetle in order to get the treasures. The electricity made me have to reset a bunch of times before getting a successful attempt. Floor 5 is annoying too because it has bomb traps and dwarf Bulborbs, so I did have to reset a couple times. Luckily, I did end up getting the anxious sprout, so I can move on. Floor 6 was also annoying. Almost as if it's a theme with this cave. The Eternal Emerald Eye wasn't that hard to get, but the Colossal Fossil was picked up by a Dweevil, so it took longer. Floor 7 is the boss floor, so it's pretty straightforward. Of course, the Emperor Bulblax is a complete joke in this game, so it died. I got the Forged Courage and the Gyroid bust pretty easily, and that was it. I got my blues out and headed over to the Snagret hole, which is quite annoying with the Wollywogs there. I got in there just before the day ended. Floor 1 was surprisingly difficult. The sheargrubs always screw with me. It even got one purple. Luckily, the white Pikmin were fast, so I was able to get the crystallized telekinesis. The Leviathan feather was also pretty easy to get with a single white Pikmin. Floor 2 was annoying. I had to reset a few times because the sheargrubs kept eating my white Pikmin and dying. After a while though, I was able to get both the taste sensation and the combustion berry. Floor 3 is nothing special. We just kill both Snagret and collect the meat satchel. Floor 4 gave me a little bit of trouble, especially with the cannon beetles and dwarf Bulborbs. Not only did the Bulborbs eat white Pikmin, but the cannon beetle shot one of them with its boulders. I decided not to count the latter because later in this cave I have to kill a dwarf orange Bulborb for a treasure, so it wouldn't matter anyway. I was able to get the crystallized telepathy really easily, and the Cupid's grenade was more difficult because a cannon beetle decided to fall from the sky, as well as the watery blowhogs. And the heavy-duty magnetizer was easy once the cannon beetle larva was dead. Floor 5 is designed like it was made by a kid who really likes orange Bulborbs falling from the sky. One of them has the crystallized clairvoyance. Luckily it wasn't too long before I found it. The antenna beetle was another entry I had to get on this floor because it has the Emperor whistle. How fitting. Once those were collected, I headed on. Floor 6 was quite possibly the most annoying floor ever conceived. The water and poison mix, the antenna beetle, the millions of Snagrets, and the treasure that is impossible to get on some cave generations. Luckily, all went well thanks to a favorable generation file and the fact that I don't have to dodge any enemies. That said, I was able to get the Mysterious Remains, Salivatrix, Triple Sugar Threat, and Science Project. Floor 7 has the pileated snagret boss fight, and it went well. I was able to collect the giant snagret head and the justice alloy with ease. After exiting the cave, I got 4 extra Pikmin just before the day ended. On day 7, I decided to land in the Valley of Repose and unlock the second half of the area. After getting some more Pikmin, I got the blues together and broke down the underwater wall and the drain clog. I destroyed the snagret and started unburying the buried treasures around the area, collecting the pink menace and spiny alien treat. I had to be careful around the decorated cannon beetles because the last thing I wanted was for one to be stupid and kill itself with its own boulder. After sneaking by the cannon beetles and withering blowhog, I headed to the frontier cavern. Oh boy. Floor 1 wasn't that bad. There were some annoying snow bulbers, but my wet Pikmin stuck past them and collected the essence of rage and essential furnishing. Floor 2 was difficult, to say the least. It took 17 attempts, over a half an hour of my precious time to get past this floor. The cannon beetles kept shooting the bulbarbs, they kept shooting each other, the bulbarbs kept eating my white Pikmin, and the cave layouts were awful. Finally, I got an attempt where the snow bulbarbs were out of the way and the cannon beetles were easy to dodge, so I was able to get the joy receptacle and the icon of progress. Man, that's not even the end of this goddamn cave. Floor 3 was actually not that bad. I had to kill the spotty bullbear for the danger chime, and had to lure the dwarf bullbears and bulbmen out of the way, but other than that, it was easy. I got the fleeting art form and the gemstar husband really easily. Floor 4 was easy, literally nothing can kill my yellow Pikmin, so I swept through here with them, getting the Innocence Lost and Omniscient Sphere. Floor 5 is a rest floor. I had to be careful that I didn't kill any Spectralids, but I did have to kill a Mamuta for the Brute Knuckles. Floor 6 drove me absolutely insane. The water dumples and bulbmen kept eating my Pikmin, and the cannon beetles kept killing the dumples and bulbmen. It took me almost 15 minutes to get out of here, and I ended up losing 2 blues in the process. I had to lure a water dumple out of the way in order to get the priceless and worthless statues. Floor 7 was a breeze, as all the enemies there are already registered in the Piklopedia, so it doesn't even matter if I kill them. I had fun trying to get the falling rocks to crush the bulbarbs. The Spatula and Flame Tiller were easy to get. I couldn't kill any bulbarb larvae because they would be registered in the Piklopedia. I had Olimar and some Pikmin distract them all, until there were 50 on the field. The Empress Bullbax falls asleep once there are 50 in the area. Thank God I got the Metal Suit Z before coming here. Once I got them all distracted, I got my Pikmin to beat up the Empress Bullbax. I collected the Repugnant Appendage and the dead Bullbax and headed outside. Once I got there, I collected my yellow Pikmin and collected the fossilized Ursidae and ended the day. Fortunately, I lost the footage for the first part of day 8. I did do the Glutton's Kitchen, and it was surprisingly easy despite having to reset if a bread bug got a treasure. I was able to get all the treasures on the first 4 floors with ease. Now the 5th floor was different. There are no bread bugs, but there are cannon larvae that can kill the dwarf bullbears, and I can't have that happen. I lured all of the bullbears out of the way so I could kill all 3 of the cannon larvae. Once I did that, the magical stage and sulking antenna were easy to get. Floor 6 was surprisingly easy. All I had to do was rush over with my yellows to prevent the bread bugs from taking all the treasure. The meat of Champions, Hideous Victual, and Sweet Dreamer were simple, so all I had to do was purple down the giant bread bug and collect the dream material. Once I got out, my strategy was to open up as much as possible before I collected a treasure, as that would complete the debt and end the day. It would also be easy to collect the remaining treasures later. On day 9, I went back to the perplexing pool and collected the abstract masterpiece, and tried to collect the aquatic mine, but shearwigs got in the way and it was too difficult to get around them, so I headed into the shower room instead. Floor 1 just required some distraction, so the watery blowhog didn't kill any Pikmin. I was able to get the divine cooking tool easily. Floor 2 was easy, except I accidentally killed a jellyfloat and didn't realize it until later. But a lesser spotted jellyfloat drops a treasure in the dream den, so it doesn't change the outcome. The rest of the floor went well, except a couple stupid deaths to an orange bulbarb. I got the treasures easily. Floor 3 was fine, until the jellyfloats ate all my Pikmin, so I had to reset. Next attempt was better. Distracting the dumples was easy, and I collected all of the treasures with no problems. Floor 4 is a rest floor, so the arboreal frippery was easy enough to get. Floor 5 required some distractions, and I had to defeat some enemies I was legally allowed to defeat, but all treasures were easy to get. Floor 6 was really annoying. It had a volatile dweevil that is placed in the most annoying spot. It will come and blow up and register itself in the Piklopedia. I had to reset a couple of times to get a favorable layout, and I had to use a bitter spray, but I did end up getting all the treasures. Floor 7 is the boss, so I defeated it and got the amplified amplifier. Once I got out, I broke down the wall next to the onions to get the onion replica and the aquatic mine. On day 10, I went to the Awakening Wood and got the last treasure there and stocked up on bitter sprays. Pretty simple day. Unfortunately, I lost the recording for this day, too, but it was pretty uneventful. Day 11 was the day I went to the submerged castle. I got there pretty easily, and the first floor went pretty well, getting all the treasures pretty quickly. Floor 2 went slightly worse when some dweebles got my treasures, but I got out of there alive. I did have to kill the bulbman for the comfort cookie. Floor 3 went well, except for an idiot who decided to attack the electrical wires, but I managed to get out before he spawned. Floor 4 has volatile dweevils. Need I say more? If they blow up, they get registered in the Piklopedia, meaning I have to sneak by and use my bitter sprays to freeze them before they get a chance to activate. I had to reset many times, and it took over 45 minutes to get a cave layout where the dweevils and treasures weren't in obnoxious places. I had to bitter spray some dweevils in order to get the open archive, which was annoying, but I did end up getting it. Luckily, the water wraith only spawned after I collected all of the treasures. Floor 5 was the normal water wraith fight, so I defeated him, collected the pluckophone, and got out of there. Once I got out of there, I went and picked up the massage girdle and ended the day. Day 12 was a pretty boring day. It was just me getting more Pikmin and sprays so I can make it through the subterranean complex easier. Nothing else really happened that day. On day 13, I took a completely different route and went to the Wistful Wild for the first time. I scooted past the Gatling Groink and headed straight into the Cavern of Chaos. Floor 5 was annoying because I had to juggle bombs, electricity, and blowhogs, but I did manage to get both treasures without killing anything. Floor 2 was painful. I had to kill 3 fiery bulblaxes for their treasures, which ultimately ended with me losing 11 reds. Jesus Christ. Floor 3 was just plain creepy. There are tons of creeping chrysanthemums and falling rocks to make your head spin. I had to reset because one ate a white Pikmin and died. Eventually, I was able to sneak both the infernal vegetable and the child of the earth past all of them and collect them. Floor 4 is the Emperor Bulblax's floor, so there really isn't much to say here, except I was an idiot and forgot to call a yellow Pikmin after hitting a bomb rock that was in the way. RIP. Floor 5 is a rest floor. Nothing to say here, except the spray glitch is cool. Floor 6 has a Wollywog with the Princess Pearl, which wasn't too hard to deal with, but combining that with the water dumples and anode beetles made getting the grow shroom a perilous task. So perilous that I ended up resetting. Next attempt put the grow shroom in a good spot, so with some distraction, I was able to get it. Floor 7 was pretty easy. The impenetrable cookie was inside a puffy blowhog, so I had to kill that. The fuel reservoir required some distraction, and the hole had a wall in front of it, but still managed to not be a problem. Floor 8 is the floor with Gatling Groinks and a whole bunch of dwarf bulborbs. Luckily, we can kill dwarf red bulborbs, so I can easily distract the Groinks with some Pikmin while collecting the empty space container. Floor 9 was surprisingly easy. I usually have trouble with this one, but the careening Dirigibugs were easy to avoid, and both treasures were easily accessible. Now for the final floor. It's literally just a segmented Cropster fight. Nothing special. I even got 2 bitter sprays from it. After exiting the cave, I started to open up new parts of the Wistful Wild for later. This proved to be difficult because of the stupid cloaking burrow-nit at the bridge that would eat away at it. I still managed to get the conifer spire though. Unfortunately, I may have accidentally hit an iridescent flint beetle on the rest floor and didn't notice it, so technically I failed the challenge, but I'm still going to continue and just knock one entry off the list. Day 14 was the day I went to the subterranean complex, which I predicted was going to be awful. Floor 1 wasn't too bad, except I had to reset because a Bulborb ate a white Pikmin. I was eventually able to get the new Vow table easily, and the exhausted super stick with a bit of distraction. Floor 2 is where the fun begins. There are lots of bombs to avoid here, which proved to be somewhat annoying, but I was able to get both treasures. Floor 3 just has cannon beetle larvae, fire geysers, and bomb rocks, so I could essentially just play the floor normally. I got all 3 treasures without any issues, and even used the candy pop bud. Floor 4 is a rest floor, so nothing really happened. I tried to get some bitter sprays, but had no luck. Floor 5 was my biggest fear from the very beginning of doing this challenge. It has tons of volatile dweevils, which explode automatically and registered in the Piklopedia. I had to get a good cave layout so that the treasures were easy to get and the dweevils weren't in my way. What you're seeing right now is a compilation of me getting bad layouts. And then this happened. Yeah, I have no idea either. Floor 6 started off well, but quickly fell apart once some white Pikmin died from electricity and bombs. One thing I realized was that if an enemy falls off the edge, it isn't registered in the Piklopedia. That's good to know. After I got lucky with the spawn, I was able to get the 3 treasures. Floor 7 is the Gatling growing floor, so naturally, I made it walk off the edge. Unfortunately, I had to reset because the second Gatling Groink didn't spawn. Come on! After I reset, the floor overall wasn't hard, until my stupid idiot purples decided to attack volatile dweevils. Next attempt went well, except I lost a few yellows to the Groinks, but I was able to get all 3 treasures with that issue. Floor 8 is a rest floor, so I got some extra purples before continuing on to the final floor. Speaking of the final floor, the Man at Legs is probably one of my favorite bosses in the entire series, even if you can cheese it with purples. After exiting the cave, I got the rest of the treasures in the Valley of Repose. Day 15 was the day I went into the Hole of Heroes. It'll be interesting as there is only 1 treasure per floor. Floor 1 wasn't too bad because I got a lucky spawn with the only enemy in front of the treasure being a shearwig. Floor 2 has snitch bugs, walls, and electricity, so it was quite annoying to get the essence of true love, as you can imagine, especially because it's buried. Floor 3 is a volatile dweevil somewhere on it. Couple that with every blowhog imaginable, and you have quite an annoying sub-level. It's a good thing I could kill the flying ones, because this floor would be 10 times harder if I couldn't. I did have to reset a few times because of bad volatile dweevil spawns. I did end up getting the love sphere though, even if I did use a couple bitter sprays. Floor 4 is another pileated snagger fight, with another burrowing snagger fight. I probably lost more Pikmin than I should have. Floor 5 is a rest floor, so yeah. Floor 6 is a water floor which, as you may have guessed, is annoying. I can't kill water dumples, so distraction was key. I was able to get the stringent container pretty easily though. Floor 7 is the ranging boister in a big arena, so nothing abnormal happens here. Floor 8 is a rest floor with Bulbman, so I killed the mother and got the babies. I'm sorry, that sounds so wrong. Floor 9 is the floor with the famous Daz Let's Plays thumbnail. Luckily, I could kill everything here except the hairy, snow, and dwarf bullbears. I did lose a purple, but I was able to get the patience tester. Floor 10 has 2 Emperor Bulblaxes, so I kill the one with the treasure gyro block and continue on. Floor 11 is probably the hardest floor in the entire game, because you have the Empress Bulblax making babies that I can't kill, and I have to make it not kill them either, and rocks fall from the sky. I did manage to do it without casualties, but Olimar was in rough shape afterwards. Floor 12 is a rest floor, but with a twist. It has the lost gyro block on it, which means I have to kill the glint beetle. Doesn't really matter though. Floor 13 has the Man at Legs, so I fought it like normal. Don't really know what to say here. Floor 14 has the beady long legs and dweevils, and of course the beady long leg spawns in the water, so it took a little longer. But I didn't really have any issues. Floor 15 has the raging long legs and jelly floats, so I can kill anything here. And yes, I can kill the lesser ones. There's one the dream den that drops a treasure. Anyway, the fight was easy, and I got the final piece of Rob. The next thing I did was get some of the overworld treasures in the Wistful Wild, which required me to kill a creeping chrysanthemum and an orange bulbarb. I surprisingly had to reset a bunch of times due to the purple and white Pikmin being killed, but I did get all the treasures except the Doomsday apparatus before sunset. Day 16 is the Purple Pikmin breeding day, where I go to the subterranean complex and get a whole bunch of purple Pikmin to carry the Doomsday apparatus. Kind of uneventful other than the fact that I have to traverse the volatile beetle floor a bunch of times. I didn't record it because I don't feel like having 2 hours of footage that I'll only use 15 seconds of. Day 17, the final day of the run. Let's do this. The first thing I did was get the Doomsday apparatus, and I must say, the purples go really freaking slow while carrying it. After that, I head into the Dream Den. Everything on floor 1 I could kill, so there really isn't much to say here. I got the Disguised Delicacy with ease. Floor 2, however, has a Gatling Groink on a pedestal with a bunch of unkillable enemies, so I have to be careful. I lost 2 yellows, but I was able to get both treasures. Floor 3 has a spotty bullbear trap, so I just make it walk off the edge like usual. I was lucky in that the treasure didn't respawn near the dwarf bullbears. Floor 4 is filled with cannon larvae and anode beetles, so I just had Olimar go around and punch them to death. Luckily the boulders don't affect the anode beetles, and the mirrored element didn't spawn in a bad place. Floor 5 has a bunch of enemies we already have registered, so nothing much changed. I just used the age-old strategy of making your enemy walk off the cliff to get the insect condo. Floor 6 has jelly floats and cannon beetles, with the future orb inside of the greater one. It wasn't really that big of a deal to get, as I can kill everything here. I feel like I'm at the stage of the game where there really isn't anything new to kill, while at the same time having most of the enemies in the Piklopedia. On floor 7, I got lucky and the blowhog with the Essence of Desire was right next to me, so it was easy to get. Floor 8, I could tell it was going to be really annoying. It has a crap ton of dweevils and I can't kill any of them. The possessed squatch was easy enough to get, just a few dweevils picking it up. But the extreme perspirator took a bit of luring in order to get it reasonably fast. Floor 9 is a rest floor, with nothing on it, so yeah. Floor 10 is another water floor with a Gatling groink. Hooray! I also can't kill most of the enemies here, so resetting until I get a good layout is the way to go. Luckily, I did find one where none of the water dumples were in the way of the treasure, so I got it easily. Floor 11 was another annoying one, as I couldn't let the bread bug get either of the treasures. And every enemy was unkillable, so it just took some more effort and a bit of resetting to get through it. This was much more difficult than it looks. I had to get a spawn point that had the treasures in good spots in order to proceed. I ended up getting both the yellow taste tyrant and boss stone, but at the cost of some of my Pikmin. It probably shouldn't matter that much though. Floor 12 just has stuff I can already kill, so nothing changes at all. I was able to get both treasures like I wouldn't have normally. Floor 13 is mostly the same. I just can't kill the hairy bulborb. It was a breeze getting the alien billboard. It's funny how that is one of the first treasures you get in the NTSC version, but one of the last in the PAL version. Finally, I'm here. The final boss of the game. Good thing I brought extra yellows. It's literally the Titan Dweevil fight. I start by attacking the monster pump and knocking it off, and then the flare cannon. Once those are done, I move onto the comedy bomb and finally the shock therapist. It autocorrected the schlock therapist. And with that, I can collect the King of Bugs and be done with the challenge. I hope everyone liked that challenge. It was by far the hardest and most effort required challenge I've done so far. I thought it would be easier, but it wasn't. Looking at my stats, I could see that I didn't really produce a lot of Pikmin due to not having many enemies at my disposal to make more. Overall, it takes 36 enemy entries in order to 100% the game, and including foliage, 46. Not too shabby. This took up a lot of storage too. The folder that has all the footage takes up 21.78 gigabytes. That's 4 times what the entire Mission 404 Let's Play took up. For my next challenge, I'll probably do another Pokemon challenge, but this time with a ROM hack that I made. Okay, well, it's a small one, but still. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.